In times of desperation, when it seems like there's no way out, we might feel like God has forgotten us. But the Bible is full of examples where God proved He was there, even in the most hopeless situations. Today, we're going to look at a story from the book of 1 Kings, a story that isn't often told, yet it carries profound lessons about Jehovah's provision, faith, and trust. It's the story of Elijah and a widow in Zarephath, a time when famine ravaged the land, and even the basics of survival seemed out of reach. At this time, the land of Israel was suffering from a great famine. The heavens were shut, and no rain had fallen for years. The people were starving, and many were desperate. In the midst of this, Jehovah sent His prophet Elijah to a widow in a town called Zarephath, near the border of Sidon. Why did Jehovah choose this widow? Why her, out of all the people suffering from the famine? It might seem strange, but Jehovah's ways are higher than our ways, and His wisdom is perfect. The widow was in dire hardships. She was gathering a few sticks to make a last meal for herself and her son. She had no food left, no future, just a small amount of flour and oil, and she was about to prepare the final meal before they both would likely die from hunger. In the midst of her poverty, Jehovah sent Elijah to ask her for a favor. Please bring me a little water and a small loaf of bread. It was a simple request, yet in her desperation, this widow had nothing to give, not even a crumb of bread. She answered Elijah, "As surely as Jehovah your God lives, I do not have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar, and a little olive oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." Can you imagine how hopeless and desperate she must have felt? There seemed to be no way out. Yet, in that moment, Elijah spoke words that would change everything for her. Elijah didn't doubt Jehovah's ability to provide. In fact, Elijah gave her a command filled with faith. He said, "Do not be afraid. Go home and do as you have said. But first make a small loaf of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me, and then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says, the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day Jehovah gives rain on the land." In this moment, Elijah wasn't just making a request. He was speaking God's promise to her. He assured her that Jehovah would provide for her, even in the midst of the most hopeless situation. The widow had to choose. Would she trust Jehovah and take a step of faith, or would she hold on to her last little bit of food in fear? The widow chose to trust God. She made Elijah the small loaf of bread first, and then she made some for herself and her son. And as Jehovah promised, the flour did not run out, and the oil did not run dry. Every day she and her son had enough to eat, and she was able to continue providing for them all through the simple act of faith she demonstrated when she chose to trust Jehovah's word. What an incredible example of Jehovah's care and provision. Even in her poverty, Jehovah provided for her, and He does the same for us. No matter how bleak the situation may seem, Jehovah promises to be there and take care of His faithful servants. Sometimes trusting Jehovah requires us to step out in faith, just like this widow did. When we put our trust in Him, we can rest assured that He will always provide what we need. The story of the widow of Zarephath teaches us that no matter how difficult our circumstances, Jehovah is always there for us. When we put His kingdom first and trust in His promises, He will provide. You may feel like there's no way out, that your resources are too few, but remember, Jehovah sees your need, and He is capable of providing in ways we cannot even imagine. If you're facing a difficult time right now, Take a moment to reflect on this story. Just like the widow, you can choose to trust Jehovah, even when it feels like you have nothing left. And just like her, you can experience Jehovah's miraculous provision. We hope this story has encouraged you. Trust in Jehovah's ability to provide for you, no matter how small or large your needs may seem. Remember that Jehovah's promises are true, and His love for you is greater than you can imagine. If this video has helped you, please consider sharing it with others who might need some encouragement today. And don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting content based on Bible principles. Thank you for watching, and may Jehovah continue to bless and strengthen you in your faith.